Come on, you
Still
stupid.
nothing. Still nothing.
Oh. It says I'm live.
Not on my end. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I have to wait for YouTube to like catch up, and if I'm not on the actual screen for YouTube, it screws up. Stupid thing. Okay,
All
yeah,
right, there we go.
yeah. Welcome to
Welcome.
anyone. I'll do it I'll do it myself on
Yeah,
my channel as you've done yours. Yeah, Inside the
yeah,
Multiverse 38 DC Comics podcast for February 2023 and the end of January. And my word, have we got a heck lot to talk about. I'm here with Taladia Plays as always. I'm DC
hey
Comics
guys.
Gamer, and Taladia is going to be hosting, so I will pass it over to him for our first very, very exciting and action-packed and probably very long discussion. I hope you've got the
Yes,
slate in front of you, because I can't remember all of it.
I've got the image in front of me right in front of me right
That
now.
would have
Let me
been a
just
good thing for me to pull up.
hold on. Let me
I think I can
just
do that, actually, without messing up OBS too much. I made myself brighter in the process. Cool.
hold on 1 second. No, that's not it. Where is it? There it is. All right, I've got the picture in front of me.
Good, so have I. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
The takeaway, what happened?
All right, welcome to Inside the Multiverse, obviously episode 38. Welcome to all. And what a big month we've had, full of DC goodness.
Yeah.
And let's kick it off with the DC movie stuff. And the DCU Chapter 1 has been announced.
Part of it, not all of it.
Uh,
This is
all of
this
it,
is
part of it.
a lot, but still not all of
Yeah,
it. That's which is mind blowing, frankly.
yeah, it's mind blowing, and it's going to be called Gods and Monsters Chapter 1. And let's kick it off with Creature Commandos, a new animation series coming to HBO Max. And
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's the only one where we got an actual picture for the whole thing, which is actual real. It's sort of, I don't know if it's in the past. It could be in the present. It's sort of a spin-off for the Suicide Squad, which is why it's coming up first. I'm guessing it was probably in the can, all ready to go before James Gunn was. Oh, sorry, my own voice. Yeah. Stupid chat. Yeah, I presume it was ready to go before James Gunn became head of DC. That's why it's probably going to be coming first. It's probably going to be coming next year, maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
It's got Weasel from the Suicide Squad in it, who, as we know from the end of the Suicide Squad, he actually survived, or it actually survived somehow. Yeah, it seemed to be almost
And
immortal.
it's crazy to think that we're getting a live, an animated flick on the Creature Commandos, right?
Yes.
Which has Weasel. I think even Rick Flag's dad.
Yes, Rick Flag Senior. It's got Frankenstein's monster. It's got Bride of Frankenstein. It's got what's his name? It's like Doctor Infernus or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, and also someone who was basically Abe Sapien from from Hellboy, but female, or creature from the Black Lagoonish by the looks of it.
Yeah.
It looks intriguing, definitely, and the Creature Commandos are a lot of fun. I kind of sort of wish we had got a Justice League Dark first, and then you could have crossed over with them, because they cross over a lot and it's usually quite clean. It's always quite fun, Zatanna interacting with Frankenstein's monster and in the comics, which happens more than you expect.
I mean, it is an interesting concept, but I think it's another form of a Suicide Squad.
Yes, I feel it's a little bit too similar to Hellboy or something, but it's still fun to have all these like universal monsters essentially in a squad together. Weasel was playing the role of the Wolfman,
Yeah, and Weasel has been played by James Gunn's brother,
Yeah, Sean
I believe.
Gunn, presumably.
Sean Gunn.
Presumably
Yeah,
still him doing the voice, I'm guessing.
yeah,
The
yeah.
fun part about it is that not only is it animated and that it's probably going to be first, probably next year, what James Gunn is planning is that anyone who plays these characters in animation could swap over
We'll
to live
cross off.
action very easily. So they're all
We'll
going to be
cross over.
actors, yeah, who are going to play it in live action and probably will.
Uh,
You know there
yeah,
is going to be a Suicide Squad free, and James
yeah.
Gunn's
And
probably going to get involved.
somebody in my chat, Linger, he goes, we got animated Justice League Dark twice.
Mm,
Even though we did get it twice, Linger, that was not part of the DCU.
no.
That was like the DC animated movie universe.
Yeah, and the second one
So
killed the entire DC animated movie universe.
yeah,
And that's only
so it's
technically
like
Justice League Dark.
so for James Gunn to do something similar, it definitely makes sense for James Gunn to kick it off like a Suicide Squad-esque.
Yeah, I am prepared to
Um,
bet that this was already in the
work
process of
done.
on the way,
Yeah,
as is the second project, which was probably also ready to go.
yeah,
Which do we move to?
yeah. Which is Waller.
Yeah, Amanda Waller.
Which is gonna be Amanda Waller's getting a very own live action series on HBO with Viola Davis returning to play the role as Amanda Waller. And by the way, guys, in this series you will see characters from Peacemaker crossover with the Waller series,
Yes,
which confirms that James Gunn will keep majority of the cast of the Suicide Squad,
which
the
was
surviving ones, I
kind of
should say.
predictable, but at the same time, yeah, James Gunn, you
Yeah,
sneaky devil. But at the same time, Amanda Waller, Viola Davis is one of the best parts of the DC or DCU. She's
yeah.
such fantastic casting, and she's been in it almost from the start with the other Suicide Squad, and has been a sort of a natural. And it was even in Black Adam. So yeah, it's a good character to keep over, especially with Viola Davis
To
in the role.
keep Viola Davis in the role is just
Yeah.
awesome.
And
But before we move on,
no, yeah,
to
the Suicide Squad won a Peacemaker. Sorry, Peacemaker season 1 set up a really interesting arc for a Amanda Waller series, and I can see why they're doing that instead of Peacemaker season 2 first. But yeah, go.
so before we move on to the other projects, we'd like to also mention as well. He's also mentioned Shazam, Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman are still coming out, but in between Flash and Blue Beetle, there's a universe reset.
Yes, yeah. So the Flash will essentially be Flashpoint as it is expected,
Yeah,
which they were always going to do, and not rather frustratingly. But by the sounds of it, James Gunn is going to sort of meld it a little bit more and to make it a little bit more in canon, a bit more actual DCU,
yeah.
which is good. So it is going to be like an actual Flashpoint.
It,
It's going to be a new
it is
52,
going to be an actual.
and
It's going to be an actual Flashpoint movie, which makes me believe that after the universe is reset, Blue Beetle will tie into Aquaman in some way.
yeah. Well, the thing we've all thought and were predicting and we hated. This is on us on Inside the
Yeah,
Multiverse saying what was supposed to happen was that Superman Henry Cavill was going to be written out in favor of Sasha Calle's Supergirl, and Ben Affleck's Batman was going to get written out in favor of Michael Keaton's, which both things we really hated. And that was like heavily leaked and or rumored. What will
yeah.
probably happen now is that hopefully Sasha Calle's Supergirl will continue for a project we'll be talking about in a moment, but we'll still have Superman and Batman, just not the same ones
Not
that
the
we had
same
before.
one, but mind you, James Gunn did say he did want Henry Cavill down the line for certain projects,
Which we'll
which
get
makes
to.
me wonder. Which makes me wonder: are we gonna get a Rebirth style in the future? You know, You know what I mean? Because we're gonna talk about this next project because this next project comes out July 11th, 2025, guys.
Yeah.
That is Superman Legacy. Yes,
Mm.
that is the title, the working title, I should say, for the next project called Superman Legacy. It's Superman, not an origins film, but it's more like Superman trying to balance out his Kryptonian heritage and his human heritage combined. He's trying to balance them both out, and he's trying to be in this film essentially. Um, it, it's essentially going to be interesting to say the very least.
It's.
Now, I gotta ask you, I gotta ask you this, Chris. Right?
Mhm.
Do you think Superman Legacy can be the new 52 version of a live action?
Oh, I hope not. Not. If you're talking about the suit, then I think very likely. If we're talking about the character, how he was in the New Fifty
No,
Two, I really hope
no,
not because I don't. I
no,
can't.
no, no,
He's a
no. I mean the
weirdo in the
suit.
New 52, but the suit I
I
think
mean the suit.
is fairly likely with
I
the red belt especially
yeah.
and sort of the higher collar. I think that's a strong possibility. Welcome to
Um.
Derpy Entertainment in my chat, by the way. Who had
Yeah. Welcome,
who,
welcome. And Linga, the reason why Cavill would come back is just because James Gunn did say in a statement that he would want Cavill to come back for something. He didn't say what though.
something. We'll sort of mention that towards the end. What we think it might be built into.
Yeah.
Gold old age design, Fleischer design, Superman suit. You never know with James Gunn. It
You
could be
never know.
it could
Yeah.
be really classic Superman design. It could be the full trunks and everything. Even like a black background S. Anything could happen with James Gunn and in charge of it, and he probably will direct. To be
Yeah. He probably
entertainment,
just had to mention
as
that.
as
Yeah.
the optimistic Steven Spielberg, which no, that's I don't think that's gonna happen. Spielberg's very busy, and he's halfway to retiring. Spielberg, so I
Yeah.
don't.
And
So, yeah.
there's also rumors of Ben Affleck directing the Superman film. There's also there's also rumors of that, which I find
It's
wild.
it's going to be James Gunn, and I want to make it that there've been rumors about it like this week, basically. Well, it's almost this weekend, where I can't remember if it's the Hollywood Reporter, or Variety, one of those two. They put out they
I do know one thing though that I was gonna bring this up because Linga's saying in the chat,
all
you
right,
think Cavill like leaving The Witcher to get fired from being Superman will hold out for Gunn to call him later. Uh, there was a statement, Linga, which we'll talk about towards the end of the slate, but we'll leave that comment to last.
yeah,
But back to
yeah.
the slate itself.
What I
But
was saying, about James Gunn. There was in Hollywood Reporter or Variety. They said basically their news report said that it's likely James Gunn will direct Superman Legacy. That is their opinion, incidentally. A lot of
yeah,
people have taken this as some sort of big rumor or some sort of confirmation. No. That was the reporter's opinion. But at the same time, it's highly likely James Gunn will direct it. He is confirmed to be writing it. But the mere fact that this movie has to hit that July 2025 date, and they haven't got a director attached yet, unless they have a director lined up right this instant, James Gunn's going to be doing it because it's
yeah.
the easiest, quickest solution, and they need someone which they can trust. It has to be James Gunn. It has to be James Gunn
It has
because
to be James
they
Gunn,
don't have time to like do casting
and
and
the
a
fast
director
that
search.
it's fast, and this has been fast tracked. So we
Yeah,
do also have further details about the Superman film.
go
They're
on.
looking for an actor which is age 25.
Fine, whatever.
So, so it makes me believe that this next Superman film could be inspired by the New 52, but taking inspirations from other comics as well.
Well, supposedly the main inspiration is All Star Superman, but which
Yeah,
is A, great because it's a great comic, but B, weird because
he
it
dies
would
in the comic. Yeah,
well, A, dies, and also it's Superman at the end of his life. It's a much later Superman, which Henry Cavill will be perfect for. It's not a young Superman story. I don't think they're going to adapt anything in particular for Star Superman.
No, I just
it's
think
more
I just
the
think the
tone.
hopeful stuff,
Yes,
just the
yeah,
hopeful stuff, I can see them taking inspiration from.
yes,
But
absolutely.
shall we move on to the next projects?
Go on then.
And
Yes, yeah.
let's talk about Lanterns because that's going to be a live series HBO show which
Ah,
features two Lanterns as a buddy cop series. Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart
hmm.
as a buddy cop Lantern show, and this takes place after Superman Legacy, I would presume.
Well,
Um, and what are your thoughts on it? Like, there's
um,
going to be many lanterns in there, of course, which he
it
has
does
alluded
sound
to.
really cool. They have not announced any details on who's going to be doing it, other than the fact that it's not the Greg Berlanti show, which is completely canned now. Green Lantern Corps is completely dead. This is what's replacing it.
Yeah,
So I don't know if Greg Berlanti's involved, because obviously the last podcast we had, we mentioned that there's a big deal with him in DC now, so he may still be involved with it. Well, not DC,
maybe.
Warner Brothers, importantly.
Yeah,
But we would assume that they have some sort of showrunner or some sort of plan for this lined up, especially with all of these. In fact, we hope there's some people ready to sign, because otherwise having these ideas and not having any directors assigned to them is a bit weird. Yeah,
yeah.
if they haven't got that
So,
sorted already.
yeah, so we move on to the next one,
Yeah,
which is
but
called.
I'm excited for it though, because I'm excited for anything Green Lantern.
Yeah,
I
I
kind of
mean,
wish.
I'm iffy on it. I'm iffy on it in my opinion because I'm not big of a big Green Lantern fan, so I'm a bit iffy on the live action series. Um,
I'm loving that. I'm loving that. I kind of wish they hadn't. I mean, yes, Hal Jordan is sort of the main Lantern, and bringing him into the DCU proper, it'd be good to have him first. I mean, for a lot of people, it's either Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart, so having one or the other together, great. I kind of wish they had gone with Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz, because they literally are a buddy cop thing in the comics.
yeah, yeah,
And that would be much more diverse and interesting, and they get up there be more exciting, and then you still do a Green Lantern Corps movie separate from the show if necessary. But nonetheless, more Green Lantern stuff is good, and supposedly that will be the one in particular that builds up
so,
whatever they're doing in chapter 1 for the big
yeah,
bad, which I have my own theories on, which we'll get to.
yeah. So let's move on to the Authority, which is the next project, which is going to be a film, which is, if you think about it, it's similar to the Elite from Superman versus the Elite. If you
I have
think
never
about it,
read
it's
this comic. I don't know if you have.
no, I haven't, but some of the characters makes me think of the Elite from seeing the image, and yeah, that I don't know much about the Authority, so I could swiftly move on if
Well,
you want to.
it's probably the weirdest one on the list.
Yeah,
I apparently it's a passion project of James Gunn, which makes me think he's going to be heavily involved with it. If it's not his
yeah,
next one that he directs after, it's a film. It's a film, isn't it? So I
yeah,
would
it's a
not be
film.
surprised if comes slightly later after Superman Legacy, and it's the one he directs after Legacy. Or he's just heavily involved in it in general, because he doesn't. You don't throw out the words like
Producer role,
passion
yeah,
project and not go along. That's the only thing that could get away with him not directing the other one. But then again, he might not be the best director for the Authority. I think the Authority's quite hardcore in
yeah,
terms
it
of
is.
comics.
It's from Wildstorm, yeah,
I'm familiar with some of the characters like Midnighter who've like appeared in other
yeah,
DC stuff, but overall, yeah, none at all. This isn't the one that I am scared most for. In fact, I'm probably least scared for this, because if James Gunn's heavily involved, he knows what he's doing regarding it. But at the same time, is it the right time to be pulling weird comic things instead of like the bigger names? Like in this whole slate, well, we're about to mention it, but there's no Wonder Woman 3 in this slate. There's
no,
so
and I have a good inkling feeling why.
mm,
So
I mean,
So
it's still not
we'll
the full
talk about-
slate, so we might have another
Yeah.
Wonder Woman movie in there. But yeah, talk the next one then.
which is Paradise Lost, which
Yes.
is a live action. Think about House of Dragons or Game of Thrones type on
Themyscira.
set in Themyscira, and it's like a prequel before Wonder Woman is born, so to say, and it's all about the Amazons. So, and it's called Paradise Lost, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one's interesting because, like, I wonder if they're gonna introduce Wonder Woman, a different origin for Wonder Woman through that.
Possibly. I would like to say no, but then again, we don't know what they're doing.
We don't know.
Yeah,
We don't-
regarding Wonder
yeah.
Woman. I'd like to think
And-
that Gal Gadot is still coming back. I
Yeah.
think they booted her out for that. And also the rest of the Themyscirian cast, because obviously Hippolyta still has to be there, and the other major Amazons from Wonder Woman and Zack Snyder's Justice League, they all have to be there because they're thousands of years old. They've been there since before the island was founded, so they kind of have to be back if you're keeping any of it in continuity. This project, though, I'm really not sure about. It seems I can't see the appeal of it. I can't see. I mean, there are like sort of like Amazons who split from the main sort of like Themyscirian ones and like go off and found another colony. There's of course the brothers or the male Themyscirians who kind of get screwed or sent down to hell in some versions and then come back and then with help of Wonder Woman. There's going to be some sort of civil war on Themyscira, but
what makes me think is that the contract between Gal Gadot, that might be the reason why we got Paradise Lost.
yeah, something Wonder Woman before you actually introduce Wonder Woman, before you bring it back.
Yeah. But next up is Brave and the Bold, which is a Batman title, which is a film starring Batman and his son Damian Wayne from Grant Morrison, which is apparently James Gunn's favorite Robin. And I'm just like, okay, you're doing a Batman film, and you're doing Damian Wayne first. Why aren't you doing like maybe Jason Todd? It would have been nice. Instead of doing Dick Grayson, I understand not doing Dick Grayson, but you could do Jason Todd as Robin, and it would make far more sense to do that.
I mean, is this going to be a Son of Batman story? Is it going to be...
Yes.
So literally introducing Damian Wayne rather than just have him immediately be Robin and ready to go. That seems likely.
It seems likely that they're going to do a Son of Batman type of thing.
And to be fair, Grant Morrison was the one who introduced him in the Batman comics. So
in that comic, by the way, Dick Grayson was Batman. So it makes me does make me wonder.
Eventually,
if they are going
to then they swap. To be fair, they for a large chunk of the Batman and Robin comics, Bruce Wayne's dead, and Dick Grayson's Batman. But at the start, when Damian Wayne's introduced, Bruce Wayne is still Batman in Batman and Son, or Son of Batman, depending on
Son of Batman. Yeah,
if you've watched the animated movie, you've got an idea there.
Yeah.
But that was Grant Morrison introducing him, so that's probably the likely story.
I mean, it is interesting in some aspects, but in some aspects it isn't interesting because we've seen so many Robins come and go, so we don't want to see a kill of Robin or...
Well, I'm interested to see Damian Wayne. I will never turn down a Batman project, especially one with Robin in it as well. Yeah. Because we've got another Batman movie coming as well. Yeah, we can't possibly forget. Yeah, which we'll talk about at the end, yes, after we've done the slate. But so I'm happy to see I presume this will be a bit more, not campy is the best way, but a little bit more comic booky Batman and Robin. It's interesting that they didn't use the name Batman in the title.
Yeah.
The Brave and the Bold, though, is a weird is a weird title for it, because
Yeah.
that's usually Batman and another superhero. It's not Batman and Robin. I know they don't want to use the name Batman and Robin for obvious reasons, but why not Batman and Son? That seems obvious to me. You have to get Batman in the title just for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on swiftly, and we're talking about Booster Gold now, a live-action HBO series.
Yes.
Which is, I'm like, okay, Booster Gold.
It's a weird one, but at the same time, everyone is behind it. Everyone who knows Booster Gold is behind it.
Yeah, everyone knows who Booster Gold is. Now you know the perfect person to play Booster Gold.
Oh, who?
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
People have suggested that, but unfortunately I've got Pratt fatigue, so I don't really want to see him in any project, let alone... But
no, I think he'd be too funny for the role.
I had a perfect person, but I can't remember what the name is.
And
but
Linga says The Miz. I'm like, no, Linga, no, The Miz isn't ready for Hollywood. Isn't ready for the DCU, I'm afraid. Chris Pratt, though, he's been in other roles, like,
he's too predictable in a role, and in a way, I really hope doesn't. I don't know. I'd like to see someone like unexpected, like a Zachary Levi character, maybe an Arnie Hamner or something like that. Someone who's a little bit good looking, but can do absolute loser goof at the same time. I'm excited for this. I love Brewster Gold, and this has so much potential project-wise.
It does. As long as it don't screw it up, then yeah, it has a lot of potential.
Let's be honest here. It's basically Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's good. So I'm hopeful for any time traveling superhero show, that especially one that's DCEU set or DCU set.
These last two projects we're going to talk about are really big in their own right. So the first one being Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is a straight comic book adaptation from Tom King, and it's a film. Now we could talk about this one because I think this film won't have Sasha Calle as Supergirl at all.
Won't.
No.
Sadly, I really hope that's not the case. I mean, James Gunn's been full of praise for the movie, but Sasha Calle's not been mentioned at all. It would be an act of absolute scumbaggery, frankly, to introduce her as Supergirl in that project and then not cast her in the Supergirl movie.
No, but it makes sense to have a different actor to play it because the universe reset.
I know, but so there's
if you think about it.
Yeah, but still, it's only... I mean, they have the excuse that, it's an alternate universe. The same sort of thing that you have with, like, Reed Richards in Doctor Strange 2, when it doesn't have to be the same one when the Fantastic Four finally show up. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. Well, we haven't seen her in action yet, so we don't know if she's actually any good. Yeah. I really hope they carry on with it. I want them to keep as many characters as possible and as many actors as possible, and I'd like to see. I like seeing new characters, new actors. Yeah.
But this Supergirl will be more edgier.
That's the point of acting, though. Yeah. There's no reason why Sasha Calle can't do this if she's a good actor.
So she isn't going to be like, how is it, like how Superman is when he first came to the Earth. So it's a complete flip, if you know what I mean. So think about it more like a Batman type of character.
Well, I'm currently reading on it, and that's not quite the way it is. It's I'm reading it, and she is pretty much Supergirl. She's just what's the best comparison to make? She's almost like a Red Sonja type. She's not exactly jaded, but at the same time, she's a bit of an absolute, like a badass, and doesn't take fools lightly. I don't, but she still looks and generally is Supergirl, and she's got. And
Right.
here's the important part. This is separate. This is separate from basically the other conversation. Crypto's in it. That's an important thing. Crypto the super dog is in it.
Crypto's a super god.
He's a
Yes.
major part of it, so I really hope that carries over too.
Yes, and there's not much we can go off on that. But,
Nah, it's an interesting choice. It's got a lot of accolades, and I'm only in like a couple of issues in because I've had it sat by my bed for ages, but I've heard it's
Yeah.
really good. And the first couple of issues have been great. It's sort of fantasy sci-fi, if you know what I mean, that type of
Yeah.
thing. So she goes to like a very sort of like fantasy planet, and then they're off on a space adventure, which is almost Obi-Wan Kenobi like, and then it's a very interesting story. I'd be interested to see how it pulls off. So it's almost sci-fi fantasy take with Supergirl in this and Crypto in the center of it.
Yes.
So it should be a really fun movie. It's a good one to adapt. It won't be really connected to much of the DCU. It'll just be a fun Supergirl adventure. And I like this. I like having a Supergirl movie and a Superman movie to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, not one or the other.
So moving on swiftly, and Swamp Thing is up next.
Yes.
And apparently this is going to be like one of the most anticipated films for the project, because apparently guess who's might be producing it or directing it?
It's James Mangold.
Yes,
Yeah.
the guy who did Wolverine.
Yes, and Logan, and is currently doing Indiana Jones
Yeah.
and the Dial of Destiny for this year, which is my
But
most
I'm
anticipated movie of the
interested
year.
in Swamp Thing. I'm interested in because we haven't had a Swamp Thing live action which is going to be looking this good
Wow.
with a really top tier director. If you think about it,
Of
we haven't had
course,
something.
of course, we had the HBO Max series, which was cruelly cut off. So it's good that they're going back to it and doing it as a full horror. I love that. I love the fact that we're getting a horror DC movie that's in
A horror
canon.
DC film,
Yeah,
and James Mangold to be a part of it. That would be.
I mean,
perfect.
possibly, but yeah, that was him. He seemingly teased exactly this, so I would like to think that this is one of my hopes that about I mentioned earlier that all the directors and things like this are already kind of the deal was ready to be signed for a lot of these projects.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing is the last thing on the slate that has been mentioned. That's right, isn't it? The last one
that
on the
is
slate.
the last thing on the
And
slate.
yet we already possibly know the director for it. So even though it's the last one to be announced, we may already have the director for it. So hopefully all the other ones have got people attached or semi-attached and are ready to go. So hopeful.
But guys, just a reminder, this is just part of chapter 1. This isn't like there's no information of other stuff like gaming or even animation.
Yeah.
More animation stuff.
There will likely be more TV stuff. I mean, obviously Peacemaker Season 2 is still going, and possibly Wonder Woman 3 is the big sort of outlier.
Question mark.
Or a Wonder Woman movie. Anyway.
And Linger, yeah. No, I didn't say no, I said yes to Swamp Thing because it is done by a top tier director.
Well, assuming it's him. Yeah, but that he is a top tier director, so I really hope
He is a top tier director, so for me I'm definitely going to be watching Swamp Thing. That is something that is like.
Yep. To be fair, we're going to be watching all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to the DC Elseworld, which is officially also been confirmed by James Gunn that they're going to continue on with it. So the Joker universe will still carry on with Joker. I can't say that.
Joker Folie à Deux. Or Joker 2. Just say Joker 2.
Yeah, Joker 2 is the best thing I can.
Sods.
Yeah, so that is coming out next October. Next year.
The only DC movie we have in 2024 is Joker 2.
Yeah. And then the big one, The Batman Part 2, October 2025. It is happening, guys, and it's going to be done by Matt Reeves, and all his stuff is still happening. So Like the first one didn't hit like for me personally, I felt the first one just dragged on a little bit too much because
I still love it. I've seen it so many times, but I know what you mean.
yeah, so I kind of wasn't. I was like, oh man, it make me fall asleep. So
I loved it. I loved every part of it, but there are moments where you think, could you hurry up a little bit? It's a little bit Batman
yeah,
1989-ish in that sense, where you just think, do you really need? I mean, I know this is 3 hours, so that's worse than 89. So there are just moments where you think, could you throw in a bit more action here, or could you just edit this down a little bit, or it's a big epic sprawling thing, but it can really take its time. I just hope they speak up a bit in the next one.
yeah, and then obviously after that we got Teen Titans Go still happening, which is I'm excited for Teen Titans Go still to happen, but the big one of them all is Superman and Lois. That is still happening, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna be getting at least two more seasons, at the
Yes.
very least.
Yes. Yeah. Which is good. Which is very, very good. Especially as we're just
So,
when does it come out? So next month? No, it's next month.
yeah,
Isn't it?
next
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Next month is
On the eve
season
of
3.
yeah, on the eve of season 3 and the introduction of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and then season 4 we'll get next year.
Yeah.
And then maybe I don't know about season 5. I think they might hold off on season 5. I think it might be.
They said maybe season 5, but the good thing about this is that it would run probably before maybe Superman Legacy.
Yeah,
So
it'll be before Superman Legacy, definitely.
depends how well it's doing, basically. But
Yeah,
they seemed confident that it would run till for at least 2 more seasons. So I don't see why it shouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah. There's also the Penguin, of course, which will probably be the other big DC project for next year, for 2024. That'll probably that should be out way before the Batman Part 2. So Superman and Lois, the Penguin and Joker 2 are the main DC things for next year, and the Wonder Woman game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if the Wonder Woman game is actually, if we're gonna get anything from it this year,
We're
that is the big
assuming it's
question.
next year. We're assuming
It's next year. But we gotta talk about this because this is the biggest thing: gaming, right?
Well, we've got the
No.
we got one more movie thing to cover, which I was
No, yeah.
and that's the Shazam trailer, basically.
Oh yeah, Shazam trailer.
Yeah. Did you
I
remember?
saw it
Yeah.
and I wasn't blown by it.
No.
Too
I
much.
wasn't either.
It was too much. It was too much shown.
Well, that was that as well, and too much shown and not enough excitement in it. Not enough.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not too much shown. I'm hoping they're keeping so much back and they're only showing us a tiny part of it. But at the same time, I was far more excited for the first Shazam and from its trailers than I am about this, and I really love the first Shazam. DC recently, with the exception of the Batman and the Suicide Squad, to be fair, DC recently have really dropped the ball with their trailers. I mean, Black Adam, Shazam, and League of Super Pets just in the last year have all had awful trailers. And in the case of those other 2 ones, they almost sunk the movie due to lack of interest.
And yeah, that's the problem with Shazam is lack of interest.
Yeah,
I've spoken to a lot of people that aren't interested in Zachary Levi's Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
yeah. I bet a lot of them have probably loved the first one. There's a lot of people like me who love the first one. But there's just something missing from this one. That's sort of a level of excitement of next level. It seems quite small and.
Yeah.
If they had brought back Mr. Mind, the tiny caterpillar villain, and had him, I think that would get a lot more excitement. Because not only is he a fun villain, but also to the idea of the monster society of evil and something cheesy like that, and going up against the Shazam family. I think that would be a lot more exciting, a lot more original, a lot more silly, a lot more Shazamish
Yeah.
than just
So
completely fresh villains like this that don't seem to have any particular. I mean, they've threatened a football stadium so far. That's the biggest thing.
that's the biggest thing that they had, and
Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't exciting,
yeah.
but
I'm getting really worried about it. In fact, I suspect it'll be good, but at the same time, I don't suspect it will
it's
do
gonna.
well.
I think it's gonna underperform at the box
Yeah, it's the
office.
same thing with
I
Black
really.
Adam. I mean, I was happy to see it. I like to see it, but Shazam will probably go in the same route where you'll watch it and think, "Oh, that's really fun," but then you'll forget about it afterwards. I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't watched Black Adam since it came out, and I
that's
started it,
why.
but couldn't be bothered.
I mean, I've watched Black Adam several times, but Shazam, I think, is gonna underperform in
Yeah,
terms of box office
no one's
numbers
excited
because
about it.
nobody's excited for it. Um, but yeah, next month is gonna be a big month though. Well, actually, sorry, next week is gonna be a big week though, which is the Flash trailer. Yeah, the Flash
Oh
trailer.
yes, well, there's several things happening next week. Yeah, yeah.
Flash trailer is one of them.
Yeah, well, I've got them on my board. Yeah, yeah. It's the Super Bowl, so it's the Flash. That's the project that's going to get a lot of people excited, and that's going to be
Yes,
very very easy for them to do a trailer for because
and
there's so much cool
in
stuff in
that
it.
same week, guys, the Flash TV show is also happening.
Yeah, yeah. Season 9, the final season, and also the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special. That's next week as well, and
Oh yeah,
also Legion of Superheroes, which we're going to talk about at the end of this show. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that's 5 big DC things. Well, 4. 1, 2. Yeah, 4
yeah.
big DC
For
things
big
coming,
DC.
and Hogwarts Legacy for Warner Brothers, but that's not
Yeah,
DC. But still, that's
that's
so.
not DC.
I've said this before. Warner Brothers throw everything at the same week. They love
Yeah,
doing this. They love just nothing, nothing,
Throw-
nothing, nothing, nothing,
and then they'll
everything.
throw you everything in your face, and then.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It never works out for them. Yeah,
But we love to see it.
yeah. It's just
So
yeah.
let's talk about Legion of Superheroes because they're
Oh,
coming up
okay.
to the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah. So quick summary is basically Supergirl. It's basically Supergirl story.
It's basically a
Uh,
Supergirl DC Tomorrowverse movie. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a
Supergirl to
Supergirl one all the way through. It says it's called
yeah
Legion of Superheroes, but it's very much a Supergirl one. They just happen to be
yeah.
slightly involved.
And funnily enough, Yuri Lowenthal, who played Spider-Man in Marvel Spider-Man, for Insomniac, is actually voicing Mon-El in
Is he?
this universe.
Okay. Now, okay.
Yeah,
Full disclosure, I have seen it. By the
yeah.
time, yeah,
Full disclosure, yeah, I've seen it as well. I can say it was a decent enough
I
film.
really enjoyed it, honestly, and
Decent enough, but
yeah.
the only thing that really made it a little bit awkward is seeing Batman in daylight.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, but I see what you mean. I was surprised to see him in it,
Yeah, I
honestly.
was surprised to see Batman in it. I was also surprised to see that we didn't get to see uh like the Superman and Supergirl's ship going simultaneously at the same time from leaving
Yes,
Krypton.
yes. There was. Well, I think they tried to. They probably did a good job in like skipping past the origin story stuff, but they didn't see it like landing or anything like that. Presumably, it's something similar to how it happens with like Superman,
In J-
Batman, Apocalypse, or
yeah,
yeah, or something like that, where she just lands. But yeah, obviously the Danverses are not involved, so it's more comic book style, where she's just probably raised by the Kents,
yeah,
but it's not too long. She's still getting used to being on Earth. Yeah, it's still
yeah,
not really getting used to it at all at the same
yeah,
time.
definitely. So
I still enjoyed it.
yeah, what would you review? What would you score it then?
Um, Probably around a B plus, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a predictable story, and I was. It's obvious as soon as they point things out, but I still like what they did with some of the characters, particularly Brainiac 5. Yeah, I like seeing him in a little bit more sort of antagonistic role, but
Yeah.
yeah, just getting more into his character a little bit more. It's surprising how few of the Legion actually featured. A few of them, most of them were off planet, so that's why I say it's more of a Supergirl movie than anything else. But
Yeah.
I like seeing the villain when he finally does show up, or when they finally do show up. Yeah, and there's a lot of setup for the next big Tomorrowverse movie, which is Justice League. Yeah. So that's going to be
Justice
exciting one.
League.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warworld.
So before we end off the stream, guys, we would just want to talk about gaming for the DCU. And guys, uh, what James Gunn has said is like basically they're not gonna make movie tie-in games, but they want to make games that are, let's say, between Superman and Supergirl. They're not gonna make a crypto game, are they? But
Not
they're gonna
another
make
one, no.
something. When he made that comment, I'm just like, God, no, please don't give us a B-list or C-list characters. We need A-list characters
Yeah,
to have,
yeah, yeah.
because we need something like that.
We do, absolutely do. And here would be an interesting thing to do.
Mhm.
If I was James Gunn, this is what at least a question I would be asking. I would give them the opportunity to say no, we can't do this, but this is still something I'd ask if it was possible, and that's make the Wonder Woman game DCU.
Now that I'm wondering if that is the case with the Wonder Woman
Because
game
that's the only
itself.
one left to go. They can't do it with Suicide Squad because that's definitely Arkhamverse. But Wonder Woman, they haven't really announced. They haven't even said who's playing Wonder Woman. So they could easily make it Gal Gadot or whoever their new Wonder Woman is going to be,
Yeah,
and introduce them through this game, and that would blow a lot of minds probably. And yeah,
definitely.
and if it's still Gal Gadot, that'll be so much easier because then we're already familiar with her, so they don't have to actually introduce her, and it won't surprise movie audiences when she turns up in the actual movies. But if it's not and it's still introduced, it would still be a cool thing to do if possible. Then it wouldn't have to be its own universe. It could be within the DCU. That would do a lot for get James Gunn's gaming credibility on that side.
Definitely.
Yeah, if he could actually swing that.
110% it will.
Yeah,
But we need A-list characters for sure. We need Supermans, we need the Batmans, we need
yeah.
we need the Wonder Womans out there in video games. And if we don't get that, I think that it's a big loss for Warner Brothers and for DC as a whole.
Yes, it really is. I mean, the idea of them doing a DCU series of games is something that Marvel have even attempted, so it would be a good coup for them to get it all in universe. But it'll still be difficult to do because games
Yeah,
take a lot longer.
I agree. It's definitely difficult to do, but if they get it right and do A-list characters and not B-list characters, or even just if they do characters which is obscure, I don't think if they did obscure characters, I don't think it'll do well. But
It has to be Superman.
but
It has to be
it has
Superman
to be
first.
it
First
has
and
to be
foremost.
Superman first. That's for sure. But
But there is another
yeah, I
gaming.
think
There's another gaming thing to bring up though.
yeah, oh yeah,
The
that is
strong
the
rumor.
strong rumor which was actually talked about by one of the devs
Yeah.
at TT Games, and apparently the rumor is the next Lego game is going to be a Lego Lego Batman 4.
Yes, supposedly it's either that or Harry Potter, basically, or Harry Potter
Yeah.
Skywalker Saga type thing.
And
But it's supposedly in development, a new Lego Batman game. Very exciting.
yeah, and yeah, Linga, they did do a Legos what's it called? They did do a Super Pets game. I do
Yes,
know
they
that,
did.
but
That's what I was alluding to. It's terrible.
yeah,
It's on Game Pass,
terrible.
incidentally, if you haven't played it and have Game Pass. So you
No, I
can
don't have
play
Game
it
Pass.
if you have that for free. I don't advise you to
But
play it for more than 5 minutes.
but yeah, Lego Batman 4
We can go
and
there.
or Lego Harry Potter, which is the possibility.
Harry
Uh,
Potter honestly seems the more likely one because that's an easier
yeah,
one for them to do. They just have to adapt the movies again. They probably still got a lot of the assets, and then they just go
yeah,
all Skywalker saga with it. And the advantage of Harry Potter, of course, is that 9 times out of 10, it's all set within Hogwarts. So they
yeah,
just have to do a big Hogwarts open world thing, and then bingo, that's they're essentially done through the entirety of the entire movie slate. And not like Skywalker Saga where they have to do a new planet for every single film.
yeah,
Uh, but Batman will probably come second after Skywalker Saga. Hopefully they'll
yeah.
get back into a bit more of a good development cycle so they can do more than one at a time. Because it took so long for them to get out Skywalker Saga, so I'd hate for them to get stuck in the rut, which they seem to be. But
So,
yes, very exciting.
but
I'm excited for another Lego Batman. Hopefully, it will be a Lego
hopefully,
Batman movie,
fingers crossed.
universe
Fingers
one
crossed.
instead of
Yeah,
their own
fingers
one.
crossed.
That's what I want to
Definitely.
see. Yeah,
Fingers crossed. But that is it for Inside the Multiverse, episode 38. What a what's it called episode, guys. We would like to thank you for watching. So make sure you do leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and
yeah,
help us reach our goal of 100 subs by the end of the year. That would be super appreciative. And also make sure you check me out, which is at Taladia Plays. I have currently posted up my Gods and Monsters reaction and review for the DCU slate, and I will be doing a collab with Slipshot, who is going to be talking about. We're going to be talking more about that on my channel with him, and I also got the League of DC show, which I do every weekend or every 2 weeks with the lads from what's it called, Comics League and Nick from the Phoenix Press and Jay Heat. So it's going to be a great show there. But Chris, where can I find you? What have you got coming up, and what
yeah,
have you got going for
yeah.
you?
YouTube.com/DC Comics Gamer, Twitter DC Comics Gamer YT. My main things for this week, I've got a full reaction to Legion of Superheroes, which I'm just prepping, and also at least another video for that. I've got something on Multiversus, which is
Oh,
still coming. Uh, I had something else being plotted before this. Oh yeah, something about the video games, the video game slate, and my theories for that. And you probably got most of that from this podcast.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'll probably put that in an official video. And I still have a big project that's still ongoing, but I'm waiting on some art for. Yeah, but it's taking its time. So that project's going to explode at some point when I finally get that artwork. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah,
So
stay tuned. Stay tuned to DC Comics Gamer for a lot more.
stay tuned. Yeah, and make sure if you guys are watching any of our channels, whether you're on Twitch or if you're on YouTube on Chris's channel, make sure you pop over to the podcast YouTube page and check us out there, and subscribe and hit that like button, guys. So appreciative for that. But until the next episode, I've been your boy Talaja Plays. That's been DC